Hello and welcome to the Mak Cast. I'm Nick Zadowski. Joining me today on our very special first episode is my sister Svetlana.
I'm honored. Hello.
I'm honored to have you here. Dobro ni dojde.
Dobro što vi najdo.
There you go. Very good. See, you're already a natural. You're already a natural. Like I said, this is the Mak Cast. This is a podcast or a video podcast for first and second generation Macedonians that were born in America, Canada, Australia, mostly. This is for the generation of Macedonians that say, yeah, I know what Piftija is, and no, I don't want any.
Except for me.
Except for you. You've developed a taste for Piftija. What is it about Piftija that you really like? Because, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I like garlic and I like meat.
I like both of those things. I like both of those things too, but in like a cold gelatin-y way, it just doesn't work for me.
It works for me.
I keep trying. It's one of those things I want to like. I
don't like the solidified white fat, but if you have that white gelatinous fat, you are also a novice Piftija maker because you are judged on your non-white fat that's been solidified.
There's definitely levels of Piftija. I would say I'm like a level 2 and you're like, what, level 6?
What's the scale?
17.
That you like it?
Yeah, so that's okay. The highest that you like it.
I'm like at a 14.
Wow, that's pretty hardcore.
Yeah.
I applaud you for that. But like I said, this is the Mak Cast, a video podcast for kind of a Macedonian generation of people. You know, on this show, we're going to try to talk about Macedonian music, food, funny stories that we see online. This is a sister podcast to the Better Balkan. We are still doing that, so this is kind of an extension piece of that. So I mean, if like the Better Balkan is like the svadba, this is more like the hangover, like afterwards. Okay. So that's what this is. So this is our very first episode. We're giving this all a try, and I have high hopes for it. I think we're off to a good start.
Solid minute and a half.
That's a good amount of time to be doing this. So before now that we said that, I want to you have showed up on some of my stuff before. Wasn't my stuff personally, but about 2 weeks ago there was a Macedonian trivia night. And they were nice enough to ask me to co-host it, and I was co-hosting it, and you were on the couch over there. You were playing along, so I think we have a very unique perspective because you were playing the game and I was co-hosting the game. Alexander the Great famously tamed a wild horse in his youth and named him this name, meaning Oxhead. I'll give you guys a hint. It's not Oxhead Ski.
Okay, as your local Vlaf or Aromanian, I'm happy to announce this question number 3. Macedonia is the birthplace of film technology in the Balkans. Fun fact. And it was pioneered by these two Macedonian, Aromanian, or Vlaf brothers. Who are they?
We're like dying over here. This is amazing. But we'll to mute myself.
Whoever wins this,
for right now.
Whoever gets this question right, I'll speak a little Vlashki to. So, a little bonus for you there.
You gotta teach me some dirty words in Vlashki. Those are the ones.
Well, this is recording.
First, you tell me as a player, how did it go? How'd you like it?
It was great. I was impressed by the knowledge of everybody. I'm really excited that people played along, and it was something for a lot of families got involved, a lot of parents as well. So I was impressed by their vast knowledge.
Yeah, and the question. I'm gonna throw up some highlights of the trivia night here, and those questions were. I mean, they were on a scale of 1 to 10. They were a good 17. 17 is going to be our new high scale.
He wrote a book called On Macedonian Matters in 1903, laying the groundwork for the future codification of the Macedonian literary language. And he's rocking an awesome goatee. Fortunately, it's not a clue. There's something I want to point out.
It is an awesome goatee, now that you mention it.
We did, I think, ask our dad the next day some of the questions, I think, and he, of course, knocked it out of the park. Got an A+ on all of them.
Every single one. He's like the freaking teacher.
So he's gonna be on my team next time.
I think so. And I was one of the co-hosts. It was me and Mario. Mario was like this wealth of knowledge. My very first time kind of like interacting with him, and I was like, damn, this guy knows so much more than I do on all this stuff. But I think it was a great dynamic. He was really knowledgeable, and I was just kind of like, I was trying to bring the funny. I was doing what I can.
It was also really nice to see just people's level of involvement with the country also, and just how passionate they are about going back, wanting to continue those roots and everything. We all have family there still and are really close contact with a lot of them. But
big shout out to everybody in Kukurecini.
Yes.
Hi guys.
But it's kind of on a different level. And I think even we're on the West Coast in California, and we don't have that many Macedonians here. I mean, we have a decent amount that we're really close friends with, but compared to the rest of the nation, and I think in Canada, we're tiny. We're like a little pea.
Yeah, I mean,
compared to
it's one of those things, like it's a close knit community of like at least young Macedonian people, but it's close knit. But well, I consider them all very good friends. We're all very close to each other. There's just not that many of us. Like we could probably carpool to Vegas in a pretty big van all together. I mean, but
we
have many times. But yeah, that was that being said. So
it's really nice to see that.
It was really great to see, kind of reach out to everybody else kind of across the globe. And we are having there will be a second trivia night. I think it's going to be about 2 weeks or so. I don't know the exact date, but we will be posting it online. So keep your eyes peeled for that one, guys.
I'll be there with my dad.
Yes. we're going to need the help. He was really good at that. Oh man. We're going to start we're going to try something on this show. Today is going to be the first time we try it. It's something that I like to call Tales of Bob and Dedo. Because in all my travels from everywhere that I've met with young people, it doesn't really matter where you come from. We all have, these stories with Baba or Dedo or both of them that just kind of shape our childhoods, and it kind of, it just makes us remember them. If you're fortunate enough to still have your Baba and Dedo in your life, I still have Baba. You do too. We share the same one. But I'm hoping to start a new thing called Tales of Bob and Dedo, and I'm going to share one of my Bob and Dedo stories. If you got one, go ahead, chime in, Svetli. And hopefully this hopefully should maybe catch on, and anybody listening to the sound of my voice, if you hear this, if you got a good Bob and Dedo story, I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, please share.
Yes, please do share. I'm gonna so this one is actually it was after Halloween, with this story with Dedo. Most of my stories are with Dedo. We had neighbors around here Halloween's a big deal in the States. And for us, usually we'd get a pumpkin to carve, and then you'd have a pumpkin for tikvarnik or something like that. We'd make, there's one for cooking and there's one for looking at. And the neighbors across the street didn't carve their pumpkin. They just left it out. And like Halloween came and went, and it was like a few weeks into November, and there's like, Dedo's like, they're not doing anything with that pumpkin. Shopra, come on. I was like, ni gozaboraya. So I was like 7 at the time. And then he like, and I'm watching TV, and he pokes me. He's like, "Pojdi karshia zemlja tikvata," which means go across the street, get that pumpkin. And I'm like, no. He's like, "Odi, come on, let's go." And I was like, so after
put your big boy pants on.
Put your big boy pants on. This is your time to shine. So I put on my big boy pants And then I go across the street, and it's like a little bit dark out right now. So I'm kind of creeping, and I was a very good kid. I never really was one of the troublemaking kids. So like something like this was like terrifying to me, and like my heart was pounding. So I'm like walking up to
Square.
I know, it's so freaking square. It sucks. I hate it. But I'm walking up the driveway, and like I'm slowly creeping. It's like almost like out of a movie. I'm creeping up to the tikva, and I like put my fingers on it. And like the second I put my fingers on it, the light turns on, and then like the light turns on. I'm like, oh! I just drop it and I run. Looking back, I think it might have just been a sensor on their porch or something like that.
Probably.
I didn't know that at the time. So I drop it and I run back to the house. And as I'm running back to the house, I go to the front door and I grab it. Well, apparently, as I walked out the front door, Dedo locked it behind me because that's just
classic.
It's just classic Dedo. It's just what he did. So I'm pounding on the door, and like Dedo was he wasn't a quick guy. So like I'm pounding on the door, and I'm seeing him slowly walk his way to the kitchen, and then like he opens the door. He's like, "Oh, shut brother." And I was like, and I'm like trying to run past him. He's like, "Kaya tikva." I was like, forget it. There's no tikva. It's forget it. It's gone. It's done. Forget it. We never got that tikva again. I think it was gone the next day. They may have known what had happened. This wasn't the first time somebody had tried to steal a tikva from them.
They caught on.
They have caught on. They have caught
Man,
on.
classic Dedo tales. There's so many. There was one with a carpet cleaning guy that came by and he tested something on our carpet. There was one about I just remember that one right now. I think the one that sticks out the most is I was in middle school and it was with Dedo, and he would pick me up every day, most days. Sometimes it was my mom, but he had picked me up this day, and he was in the pickup truck, the White Dragon, and the
By the
pickup
way,
truck.
I christened that the White Dragon. That was.
And so he picks me up, and there was always the same pickup spot on the side of the school, but for some reason there was a lot of traffic, so he couldn't go the same route that he went, so he had to go through the front of the school. So he picked me up on the side, but we got like stuck in this little traffic jam trying to wedge ourselves to get to the front of the school to leave. And as we're waiting in line, because it's like one lane, one going and one coming, there was some trash cans because it was trash day, and they were in the way. And he was like, "Svetli odi izlazi, mrdnigi garbichita." And I was like, "No, Dedo, like we're in front of the school. Like all the cool kids are here. The guy I like is outside. I'm not going outside."
Of course.
And he was like, he's like, "He's like, we're gonna be here all day. Just go move them." And after like 5 minutes of going back and forth, and at this point I'm frustrated too, I finally like muster up the courage to get out, and I move the trash cans. And of course, this is, looking back at it, whatever, not a big deal. But in middle school, it's like the end of the
middle
world.
School, it is the biggest deal.
It is the biggest deal to be hauling around trash cans, and you're like, okay, fine, whatever. And then, of course, the trash cans get stuck on something like a pebble or whatever on the floor. So I finally move them all out of the way. And I'm like, with my head hung down, I get back into the car and we take off. And the next day I remember getting to class, and of course my crush that was there, he's like, "Hey Svet, I saw you moving the trash cans yesterday."
I thought he was gonna be like, "Do you like live there or something? Why are you moving the trash cans?" Jesus.
Yeah, so that stood out. That one's pretty funny, but
that was a great tale of Baba and Dedo.
the endless tales of Baba and Dedo.
Oh man. If you have any great tales of Bob and Dedo, please feel free to send them to me. You can direct message them to me, or if you'd like, you can record yourself and then we'll play it on the show. Just give us the old okay. Let's keep this going. That being said, I mean, this was our maiden voyage. I wanted to kind of keep it short and sweet. Thank you so much for being here, Svetli.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully it will not be your last time.
No. I will be back.
You sound so like I've been. Plenty of women have told me yes with their mouth and no with their eyes. You're not.
Well, I'm your sister. I'm not going.
It doesn't matter. I could still read a face.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, my friends are in
the high pitch.
Yeah, my friends are in the
Sure.
my friends are in the car right now. Sure. You record here every Tuesday? Sure.
What's my number? You can guess it.
I'm in the book. Yeah, I know. People still use phone books. But seriously, thank you for being here, Sally. I hope you had a great time.
It was fun. Thank you, everybody. See ya.
See ya.
Cheers.